Here we are again. Obviously we got a huge challenge this week, defending the spread option defensively and playing a team that was picked to win the Coastal Conference side of the ACC. So, they're a well-coached team. Georgia Tech is with Paul Johnson does a great job coaching. Very intelligent guy. From all my meetings with him, got a lot of respect for him, both administratively and as a football coach. Just sitting with them in ACC meetings with the coaches where we've been. Obviously, they're struggling a little bit, and it's not because they're a good football team. That's for sure. They lost 4 games to some pretty good football teams. That combined record of 4 losses are 19-3. If anybody wants to sit there and think they aren't a good football team, I would argue with you. They go through some struggles. They've had some injuries, as we have, this will be a challenge for our football team. I think we're 0-3 against them in the history, I guess, and we get to go play on the road again. Even though we had fun in Heinz Field this past weekend, and we look forward to getting our guys coached up and going on another business trip. So, questions? Wait, what are you doing sitting over there?
Yeah. How does this week in practice look different because you're playing an option?
Well, come on. It looks a lot different. They line up in different formation, and there's motion, and they're chopping you, and there's a lot of different things they can do to you. So it's not an easy thing to defend, and it'll look totally different.
How do you prepare the scout team?
We'll have a little bit more walkthroughs for them prior to practice. I don't know if it pays to have them sit in here and watch them on tape. I think they need to go walk through it and understand how the timing is. We're going to have to chop block. We'll have to get our guys on the ground and try to do that. It's the only realistic way to get it done, and so we'll do some of that. That's what it is, and we've got to give them the best look we possibly can. And it's never great. It won't be great. That first quarter will be the best look we get, and then hopefully we settle down and figure out what it's like.
And what is your feeling on chop block?
Part of the game.
Dangerous.
It's dangerous, but it happens in every game you're playing in. As long as it's not a high-low. Inside there's some high lows at times. That's dangerous. I don't have a real good feeling about that, but there's going to be chop blocks, and they do a good job. One of James' big run this year in the Youngstown game was a great chop block by our fullback, and I liked it a lot. So.
When was the last time you had defended a triple option team?
The last time was 2003 against Ohio University when I was at Miami, Ohio. Exact offense. And in the past, I defended it when we were at Rhode Island against Delaware, of course. They call it wing T, but I think the wing T, the spread option, triple option, it's all the same.
Does it affect your personnel on defense at all in terms of what guys might be better suited against this?
No question about it. It certainly does. You got to think about who's out there, who would play this better, who's going to play a chop well. Obviously, it's a run game. They're number 1 in the ACC in rushing. I think they're the top 10 as a rush offense. And defending a run will be obviously number 1. And, we've got to get our best run, 11 run stoppers out there, not necessarily worried about covering, a spread, type offense where they're trying to throw the ball down the field. So the guys that defend that the best this week will play. So defensively, you can just put a bunch of oars on your depth chart even though they're not on there. How's that sound?
See a guy like Jordan being even more crucial this week against that offense, and he had another good game against Virginia.
Everybody's crucial. We need 11. You can't have one guy. But no, Jordan's had a great year so far, and I'm not sure I could ask him today if he saw that offense in high school or not. But he's had a good year, but we need 11 guys to have a great day.
What types of players do you look for on defense when you're playing in defense? Like these kind of speed, big guys?
Football players. You got to have, first of all, I think you got to be intelligent, but there's no different player we're looking for today as opposed to what we looked for last week or the week before. We're looking for guys that can make plays, but you're looking for a guy that, obviously is a run stopper. Maybe it's a bigger safety, maybe it's a Javante Pitts getting a few more reps this week because I think he'll, lay the wood. Our starters are our starters, but there's some other guys that you're going, hey, this is their type of game, and probably more in the back end than it is really up front. The defensive line is a defensive line, I think, and linebackers are the linebackers. But there's certainly some guys that you think are better run guys than you think are pass guys. And we knew that last week and the week before that. So anybody that's a good run pass defender, really don't have a whole need for them this week. They're out. But we hope we got football players that can do both. And I think we do.
When you go back and watch the film of the Virginia game and then you jump at it, it seemed like from watching this game that a couple of mistakes you guys really could have put away earlier.
Yeah, there's no question about it. We'd like to let you guys hang out and not get the story out too early. Keep everybody in suspense. But, there's 6 plays on offense and there's 6 on defense. Defensively, 2 runs. Offensively, drop touchdown pass, a fumble on the goal line. There's just plays that, snap over, quarterback's head. I mean, there's those plays that you got to eliminate. This is a game of inches, and if you lose some of those inches, sometimes it doesn't get you this week, but it's going to get you the next week. We fumbled 6 times against these guys last year, lost 6. That'll get you. So we got to have ball security.
You mentioned a while back that last year you thought you were going to play Georgia Tech in your bowl game. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you guys actually spend preparing for Georgia Tech?
Well, our GAs did a lot of time preparing for them because they broke all the tape down. Then we probably spent 2 days. We had 1 practice on them before we got moved over to Cotton Bowl. So we spent a day on them, had a good feel for them. Was able to pull out some 2003 Miami, Ohio U tape and look at all the stuff there just to study it while you're on an airplane on the road, thinking that's who you're going to go with. So got a little extra.
Does that help you this week?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
So you pulled that better?
Oh, yeah. Had to have Big D pull it off VHS just to see what you did right, what you didn't. He looked at it and was like, what is this? It's a VHS tape. What do you mean?
Does Josh have much experience against option offenses?
Yeah, he does. He's played it when he was down at VMI, I believe, but I think he practiced against it every day, so he does have knowledge. That's why he's the authority coach this week. I'll let him tell you that.
I know you spent some time during training camp preparing for this. Maybe explain a little bit more on sort of how much time you spent before this week watching.
Very little. Very little. A drop in the bucket for what you need to. But you know what? We had focus on what we needed to. It's tough in your first year because you have so many other things, and you're looking at that's one game, and you have all these other games. So that's why it's so hard. Is if you play 3 or 4 teams on it, you spend more time. But as a coach, you got to put your time into what you're going to see most of the time, and that's what people do.
But you spent 10 minutes talking about it. You're surprised that more schools done good with an offense like Georgia Tech and Navy run?
Am I surprised?
Because it causes obviously more meetings, different.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised.
Tough offense to run.
It's tough to run, tough to defend, but so is every offense. It's what you do. I mean, Paul's been doing it for so many years that he's the guru. That's what he is. He's Tubby Raymond. It's Paul Johnson. Those are the guys, and he's a guru. But you better know what you're doing. And I'm sure the people that work for him are doing it somewhere, and the people that haven't, I can't see Coach Chaney saying, "Hey, let's put it in this week," because it's hard to defend. I mean, he hopes his offense is hard to defend too. So there's lots of different ways to skin the cat.
Does Jester to get the practice results and translate the game results?
Just make plays. And that comes with time. He's still young. As a staff, we got to stay with him and just lead him along, not get negative with him. And he's got to feel it. It's like I told him yesterday. I said, I think we got more confidence in you. So he needs to step up and have confidence himself, which I think he will. Just a matter of time.
Is that just keeping on him, keeping his confidence up to keep coaching those results out?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we just stay with him. That's our job as coaches, is to stick with him. I think he's the best guy for the job right now, and he's just got to go make plays. And once he makes that one play, watch out, because he's going to keep making more, I think. So he's just got to see that he can do it.
You expect to have Narduzzi back this week?
Yeah. Yeah.
Zach Booker, I know he's listed the severity of his injury.
He's got a lower leg, and he's probably out this week. But he got a lower leg deal going on.
Coach, we were talking on Saturday about resilience. How much do you know if that's there until you get a situation like what you had at the end of the game?
Well, we've had it in a few games this year. Whether it be the Iowa, we fought through adversity. We've been in. We haven't blown anybody out yet. Okay, so it's been there, and every week it'll be different. And how you handle it, what's your mentality, how healthy are you? I think it's something that goes week to week. Our guys have done a great job so far, and we expect them to be strong at any point in the game or season. Does that make sense? Did I answer your question? Okay. Coach Andrews, Club Andrews, he is. Him and Freddie and Austin keep those guys back. They pull me by my belt and yank me back. He was bad on one play the other day, but you know.
I saw the vein in his sport.
Did you? But you know what? Sometimes that happens, and it's in a game. It's a game of emotion, and guys they probably threw the flag on me. I don't know who they threw it on. I think they threw it on the whole sideline. But kids are excited, and you don't want to take that away from me either. But we can't have 2 or 3 of them.
You mentioned the fumble at the goal on Saturday and how important ball security is. With that being the second game in a row that Baldry had a pretty critical fumble, were you guys doing anything different with him to sort of stress that?
You know, we've talked about just making the turnovers drills that we do a little bit more realistic. You know, Coach Powell's going to carry a bat out to practice, and if he does put it on the ground, just hit him with it. You know, I mean, what else are you going to do? You hope he does. You know, probably reflects on the "or" next to his name. So, you know, it depends on who's going to hold on to it. But we got to secure the football. And after last year and the nightmare we had there, that can't happen. And I would say we get probably the complete opposite.
Did Chris's performance also warrant that or
No question about it. Sure did. He ran hard. He was productive, and Darren Hall will be back as well. And Darren could have played last week, so I think one thing we do is play it safe with our kids, and I think Freeze could have come back if we wanted him to. But it was kind of like, you want to keep him healthy. You don't want to put a kid in danger, and it's the same thing with Darren. Last time he got a little dinged with an injury. It took him a week just to come back. He was okay last week. He was ready to go, but if the other guys were going good, he wasn't getting in. And if they weren't, he probably would have went in. And it just gives him another week to be even healthier. And I think that helps us.
Will Freeze be limited at all practice?
He'll be a little bit limited because we're going to be smart with him, but he's good.
Are your players looking forward to playing Georgia Tech because last year didn't work out so well?
I haven't asked him. I hope they are. They better.
Do you get any sense from?
No, not yet. It's too early. I haven't asked them. They better be cranked up, ready for them. We talked briefly last night about what it meant and where we're going and what we need to do, and I would imagine they get fired up for every game. You only got so many opportunities. You got 7 to go. That's it. 7 guaranteed.
I know Georgia Tech has kind of struggled this year, but Justin Thomas, what does he do that makes him a good quarterback for that system?
Well, by yards, he's the leading rusher on the football team, so he can carry the ball and he makes good decisions. I mean, when you're running, the option, is he going to hand the dive off with all the different looks you're going to see on defense? Is he going to hand it off? And he does a great job with ball handling and pitching the ball and not throwing it behind people. So he's a football player. He's a guy that's going to have the ball in his hand every snap, and he's got to get him in the right checks. They're going to look to the sideline. They're going to be in a no huddle, spread option, and so he's the key to the offense.
Does the offensive game plan change at all because you probably want to emphasize time of possession against an offense like Georgia Tech's?
No, we're going to play to win and play to score and do what we have to do to win. Depends on how they're playing us. If they're covering the pass, we're going to run the ball. If they're stopping the run, then we're going to throw the ball. And we're going to set up what we need to set up. But, maybe in the fourth quarter it could change, but it's not going to change early, that's for sure. We got to go after. We got to attack them just like they're going to attack us. We got to be on the offensive, not defensive.
Yeah, when there was a hit on Nate that you weren't too happy about there in the second half, was that a point of emphasis maybe go, point out to the league and then private conversations?
I didn't send that play in. So
I don't mean to play. I mean the hit.
It's just the guy was down and they should stay off him. But that's what are you going to do? He didn't get hurt, but they should stay off. They should respect the quarterback. Next. Who else got another question?
You mentioned that secondary is one area where the personnel might change a little bit this week given Georgia Tech. But it seemed like that was starting a little bit already against Virginia. Amara was getting more snaps at the safety spot where Parrish is, and I know Motley was in on the touchdown. Is that the same way?
Felipe, we got Felipe. I'll start with him. We got a lot of confidence, and it wasn't just all Felipe's fault on that play. He wasn't good. It was a double move by the receiver. He did a nice job, but the pressure on the quarterback wasn't good enough. So I wasn't happy with the pressure. And Pat Amara's been really playing good football, so we wanted to spell him in at either side. And T. Webb's had a great year as well so far. So, it was really a matter of just getting T. Webb, a little breather. He was a little dinged as well. So it was, it wasn't because T-Web wasn't playing good, put it that way. It's because we've got faith in what Pat Amar can do, and Terrace was just a little bit banged up as well, so it was kind of keeping him, fresh.
Did Sam ask you about Mitchell before? You mentioned Mitchell, his status?
What were you doing?
Sitting way over there, I can't hear.
No, he didn't mention about Mitchell, but Mitchell's day to day right now, and just keep evaluating him. So.